frontrunner. Haley's critics, including DeSantis, are attacking her for some comments she recently made, suggesting that if she comes up short in Iowa, it would be up to New Hampshire to correct the record. Haley says it wasn't a serious critique, more of a joke, but the DeSantis campaign really trying to play this up as a gaffe to Iowa voters. Vivek Ramaswamy doing all he can to stay competitive, even selling $33 million worth of stock to try to fund his campaign.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith reporting. America's listening to Fox News.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
There's no better time than the new year to help protect your identity and finances. LifeLock detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. If you do become a victim, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. Promo code CLAY to save 25%. That's lifelock.com. Promo code CLAY.
Another batch of legal documents relating to the dead financier and sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein is out. Here's Fox's Nate Foy.
We've only seen about 25% of the documents that will be unsealed. The second batch released last night included pictures of Jeffrey Epstein's confidant Ghislaine Maxwell attending Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010. Keep in mind, this is after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting sex from a minor in 2008. One of the documents shows lawyers discussing submitting pictures of Maxwell at the wedding as evidence in the 2015 civil defamation case filed by Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre against Maxwell.
The documents also claim Clinton threatened Vanity Fair not to publish sex trafficking stories about Epstein. A Clinton spokesperson and former Vanity Fair editor deny it. As the border crisis continues to escalate, new exclusive Fox News Channel video out of Lukeville, Arizona shows massive groups of migrants streaming into the U.S.
Yesterday's breach of the border wall occurred after that hole was cut into the steel fence. Fox cameras capturing a steady stream of migrants crossing through. At one point, a cartel smuggler recording the action on his cell phone, likely proof that his illegal cargo was delivered. While earlier this week over in Webb County, Texas, DPS involved in yet another high-speed chase. This one involved two juveniles trying to smuggle in 5 illegal migrants. Troopers did a pit maneuver to bring that vehicle to a stop. Everybody was arrested.
That's Fox's Casey Stiegel reporting. The Biden administration is docking student loan services of more than $2 million in payments. The Education Department says it will withhold payments for failing to send billing statements on time after the end of a coronavirus pandemic payment freeze. It's the latest attempt to straighten out a process marred by errors after student loan payments restarted in October. I'm Tom Rigotti, and this is Fox News.
And it is The Drive. Good morning, everybody. The Drive with Tay and Piper. No Derek Piper today. You know where he's at. He's over in West Lafayette getting ready for tonight's Illinois-Purdue game, a top 10 matchup in the country as the number 1 Boilermakers welcome in your number 9 Fighting Illini. Kyle, of course, still off on Christmas break, so we bring in the other expert, Jason Thompson, who's joining us now. What's up, my friend?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. How are the holidays? I know it's your daughter's birthday today.
It is.
Marin's 19. Wow.
Yep.
You're gonna go clubbing.
Exactly right. With this white beard, Illini shirt on, let's roll.
Let's get her done.
Yes, sir.
That just means she's excited because it's like Dad's buying all night.
Just means that she actually can go to campus now.
That's cool.
So, yeah, being that she's out of state for school, it's a big deal for them to hit 19 and be able to go to campus and show their ID and, be able to get in somewhere. So, super exciting. Happy birthday to Marin. So
Absolutely, Marin. Happy birthday. You and I both have children that have gone out of state to college. She is at South Carolina. Lucas, of course, at Arizona State, who is now graduated. It's so neat to kind of be able to see other places, right? And I'm sure South Carolina. I know our little group said next year we're going with you, man.
Road trip.
We're taking a road trip next year because looking at the pictures, I don't know that I can handle it. Number one, I'll have to go to bed early, so I'll have to do a lot of damage mid-morning.
Yeah. At our age, you go out early, you come home early.
And it just feels good because you wake up the next day and you're ready to roll again.
We're all meeting for coffee and breakfast.
Right. 100%. That's how you do it. But certainly that's cool for her, and she's loving it out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's 12 hours away, so
that's what it is.
It is what it is, and you just enjoy every moment of it. And
Isn't it funny? When Lucas went to Arizona State, I thought to myself, he's going 8 worlds away. And then I flew out there, and it was 3.5 hours. I'm like, well, that's not too bad.
Right.
I guess I can get to him within 4 hours or so. So it does kind of realize that the world isn't that big, but it's cool to be able to go and experience other stuff. All right, Jason Thompson, it's a big one tonight. Derek Piper is going to join us this hour. We'll hear from Brad Underwood next hour. And then Hans D., the man, is coming in at 4:30. Knowing him, he'll be here at in 5 minutes.
Sure.
Wanting to talk all,
Ready to roll.
Right, exactly. He kind of just takes over the show, if you will. But we'll do a little Who You Got tonight and get our thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on number 9 Illinois heading over to Purdue? Let me ask you this. With Terrence Shannon, if he were able to play tonight, which all indication is that he's not, with Terrence Shannon, you'd feel better. Would you still have Illinois losing this game? I don't even know that you do have them losing it.
So, I don't know if you've ever been to Mackey Arena.
I have.
It is awesome.
Oh.
It is so loud. I can't imagine what it's going to be like in there 8:30 tonight on a Friday night.
Oh, I never thought of that.
It is going to be electric.
They're prepping right now, aren't they?
100%.
Pre-game.
Piper can probably tell you as he's driving through campus right now. So it'll be electric. That place the roof will be ready to come off of it. So it is so hard to go to Mackey and win. And I think that Painter's only lost Illinois at home twice in his entire career.
Incredible.
So with Shannon, sure, it's probably more like a Purdue -3.5.
I agree.
He probably gives you 6 points, 7 points on the line. But I still don't know that I feel great that they're going to go in and win at Purdue. The other side of it is, it's just good to play in these environments. It's just good to be ready for March. It really doesn't hurt you if you lose tonight. If you win, it only catapults you. So I do not have Illinois winning tonight. I think it's going to be potentially a tough night. I think that line is set at 10.5 for a reason. But if Illinois shoots like they did against Northwestern, they're winning a national championship.
Right.
They're not losing to anybody if they play like they did against Northwestern.
Illinois would make history tonight if they won at Purdue because an Illini team has never won at a number 1 ranked school. Now they have beaten number 1 ranked schools. We know that. Back in 79 right here with Michigan State when Eddie Johnson hit the baseline jumper. You got I can't think of his name all of a sudden, that made the layup against Indiana to win that.
Wake Forest, right?
Well, Wake, yep. Wake was another one where they blew them out. Who am I thinking of that made the layup here at home to beat Indiana? Oh my gosh. This is the bad news about having 2 guys our age doing this.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what.
Somebody will send it in. We appreciate that.
That play has been replayed 5 million times for good reasons.
It was incredible.
Yes, for sure. For sure. The other part of it, too, is just Illinois' first kind of road game without Terrence, right?
Big time.
And we've talked about him a million times on the air and off the air, but just with him being the alpha, being the team leader, being the guy, he's always the one that can kind of get the ball and maybe get a bucket when you needed it. And tonight, somebody's got to step up and be that guy.
Big time. Yeah, that's true.
The calming factor of it. As crap hits the wall and they go on a little 8-0, 9-0 run, we probably get a couple bad calls here and there. We're on the road. Right, we've all seen it, right? We've all been ready to, throw our cold water bottle through the television as we're watching a game at Purdue.
It's so true. It's so true. And our good buddy Austin sent it in, and as well as Jeff, Darren, Ken, everybody else.
Tyler Griffey.
Tyler Griffey's the guy. I could not think of his stinking name, but that was always a fun one as well to beat Indiana. Anytime you beat Indiana. Now, of course, you got Luke Goody starting probably at West Lafayette, closer to his home in Indiana. So it'll be a special night for Luke Goody as well to go over there and handle this Purdue team. But you said it right there in terms of everything's going against you when you're on the road, obviously. Now one of the probably the biggest road game to date was the Tennessee game when Illinois, of course, they had Shannon for that and lost that game. And really the Volunteers kind of handled that game the majority of the time. They kind of had that lead. And that's kind of what I expect tonight against Purdue. But I'll tell you what, it's amazing still to me that Northwestern beat this Purdue team. Now, granted, it was at Evanston, so that helps, right? I would feel a lot better if this game was at State Farm Center. But for Northwestern, a team you just beat by 30, and I know we've both done the sports thing. We know that it just depends on how you felt one night, and were shots going in, were shots not going in. But it's amazing that Northwestern was able to beat Purdue. And you talk about putting yourself in a driver's seat tonight if Illinois could somehow get this win, to be 3-0 and already hand Purdue a second loss of the season.
No doubt.
I mean, that would be incredible.
And let's not, overthink this. Can Illinois win? Absolutely. They can win. I mean, there's no doubt they can win. You're asking, do I think they're going to win tonight? And if I had to put $100 on it, I probably wouldn't bet Illinois. But like I said, if Illinois can find the mismatches, which I think they can, they have some, big guards versus smaller guards.
No doubt.
Purdue's defense isn't elite. Obviously, you have, the big man in the middle that's, Zach's going to take up a ton of space and block a lot of shots. But on kickouts, on doubles, if they can hit shots when Northwestern try to double, kick it out, hit, fill the space, right, follow the guy that's doubling behind them, get easy buckets. If they can do that, sure. The other mismatch is going to be potentially, Coleman Hawkins has played lights out the last 5-6 games. If Edey has to come out on the perimeter against him, well, guess what? That's pulling him away from the basket, and that's not putting him in a real comfortable position.
Not at all.
So could they win? Sure, absolutely. If Illinois shoots lights out, which they're going to get some open looks, they got some stronger guys. I absolutely love Smith, their point guard, but he's got to guard one of our big guards.
Yes.
And here's where the booty ball comes into play, right?
That's right.
And we couldn't stand it when Penn State did that to our butts, but now we absolutely love it because we got some big dogs. So I like it. So the chance to win is there. It's just going to have to be, you have to be composed and make shots.
We'll talk to Piper here in a moment, and I know one of his keys to this game was keeping Coleman Hawkins out of foul trouble. Obviously, that will be huge for Illinois. Nothing against Dane Danger. I like the idea, actually, that you'll be able to throw Dane in at times, in this game to where you can free up and give Coleman maybe a little bit of a break, or maybe you throw both of those guys in and take a shot with such a big guy like Zach Edey. You coached basketball. What would your thoughts be on the defensive end and trying to contain Zach Edey? I don't think you're going to stop Zach Edey. And Piper and I looked last night. We went through all the big games they've played. And by the way, they have beaten 5 top 25 teams, including Tennessee, a team that beat you, and Marquette, a team that beat you. So they've got the strange loss to Northwestern, but otherwise this is a Purdue team that has been really, really good all season against top-flight competition. And Zach Edey in every one of those games has been lights out. And I'm talking double figures, high 20s, rebounding totals at 14, 15, etc. So how would you, as a coach, kind of go into this on the defensive end of trying to contain a guy like Zach Edey?
So I somehow, some way, watched the entire Northwestern game.
Nice.
And it was an overtime game at Northwestern. And I think I would defend him exactly how Northwestern did. Is, one, not try and let him get pinned at the rim, right?
Yep.
He's going to get his buckets. But I think that the goal to beating them is you got to stop everybody else. Like, let one guy eat.
Yep.
And if he gets 30 and you can hold them to a team of, 62, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, and you can score 70, you got a chance to beat them. And that's kind of what Northwestern did. He just got everything he wanted, but they weren't making a lot of the kick-out threes, and, they were just kind of letting Edey eat at the rim. I do think you're going to see a ton of danger tonight.
Okay.
just because you got to keep throwing bodies at him.
Right.
And you got to keep running him hard and trying to get him down the floor. That's the thing that Edey, obviously, player of the year last year, All-American, elite. But what he's done this year is he's lifted his he's in way better shape.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to have to keep throwing bodies at him and stay physical with him and keep him running, keep him moving. And Danger's going to be great at that. I mean, Danger's going to be able to, I think, body him a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And just, kind of a few, hits to the ribs, right? Make this a boxing match. And I think you're going to see Hansberry a little bit. Because somebody's going to get in foul trouble.
Point.
Somebody's going to get in foul trouble, and you got a guy like Hansberry that can come in there, not turn the ball over, play hard, and give you 5 fouls if you need it.
Yeah.
And just play hard.
And another guy that can bring Edey out if needed.
Right.
Is there any chance you see Hawkins and Dane on the court at the same time?
Sure.
That hasn't happened this season, I don't believe. If it has, I missed it. But you think you'd be okay with that. And I don't know that you'd do that much damage on the offensive end with something like that, being able to, because Edey's going to have to figure out which one he's guarding, I guess, unless we go with a different thought that I want to ask you about that Derek and I talked about yesterday. But you think maybe there is the chance that you could see either Danger and Hawkins or Hansberry and Hawkins on the court at the same time?
Yeah, so I think that's been the only reason that Danger hasn't gotten more play this year is they haven't played anybody that's got a big like Purdue. Most of the teams that they played are just long and lanky, and
That's a good point.
It's the big power Kofis of the world and Edys of the world. They just don't really exist anymore, right? It's all about guys that can handle and break you down and hit threes, and long and lanky Kevin Durant's like the next level of a big guy now.
Yeah.
Where tonight you have an Edey, so you need that size, you need that bulk, you need guys that can get after you. So I do think there's a chance. Plus, if Danger's in and he's guarding Edey, he can take him on the block. And then once again, now you've got a mismatch, which Underwood has done an unbelievable job in the last 3, 4, 5 games of finding a mismatch and just pounding it over and over and over, which I love.
I agree. Isn't it nice to know you've got a Marcus Damask that can explode for 30? You've got a Quincy Guerrier that can score in the 20s and get you double figures rebounding. You've got a Justin Harmon who the last 2 games has been ridiculously lights out.
He's shooting like Andrew Tay.
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, I literally am at the point with Harmon where it's like, when does this end? But I just want to continue to ride the roller coaster. I feel like with this entire team, there's going to be a dud at some point, and I'm hoping that dud comes at home against like Michigan, and you still win the game, right? I don't want that dud tonight because it could get ugly at West Lafayette, and I don't think it'll ever get too ugly for this team. They're too experienced, they're too veteran, but certainly you just almost feel like, oh my gosh, whereas last season they seemingly could not consistently make shots. Now all of a sudden it seems like they never miss. Right. And maybe that continues, and maybe it's just a factor of this is how good Illinois is, and for us it's hard for us to kind of get that through our head maybe of, are they really this good? But Jason, with Shannon or without, they've looked incredible in a lot of these games.
And like I said, if they look like they did against Northwestern, they literally can and will, I believe, beat anyone in the country. I mean, they looked unbelievable. But they're super unselfish.
Yes.
And that, when you play unselfish and you play for each other, I mean, I saw Quincy trying to take blame for multiple things in the Northwestern game that he had nothing to do with. But he's telling Underwood, that's on me, that's on me. So that just shows unbelievable leadership and how much you truly care about the guys on the floor next to you, that you'll take the blame. That's fine. Yeah. That was me, coach. That was me.
Isn't that great?
And he's looking at Quincy like, Q, what are you talking about, bud? But,
not that dumb.
They just look to me like they are unbelievably unselfish, playing for each other,
yes,
playing as a whole, and that's been the one complaint we've had as Illinois fans. They haven't looked that way.
No
matter how much talent they've had, they have not looked this cohesive.
Totally agree. And it's an interesting note on that is the idea that these guys, I don't know if you heard when Luke Goody was on with us, I asked him about playing on a team that is so unselfish, and I said, have you ever played on a team like that where, and he said, well, it wasn't my high school team because I was the one hunting shots. So he's like, I was the selfish one in high school, so I ruined that, but it was pretty funny. All right, I want to end this segment with this. Yesterday, we touched base on a thought. If Purdue would have Zach Edey guard Ty Rodgers and essentially just stay right in that kind of right below the free throw line, so about 13, 14 foot, and we know with his length and his height he could still protect the rim from that spot, and then kind of dare Ty Rodgers to shoot from the outside, or at least even a 17-foot shot that Ty has not, admittedly has not wanted anything to do with this season. What would you think of that, and how strange would that be? And I guess obviously you can run stuff off of that, but how would Illinois attack something like that if it occurs?
Well, I mean, it's almost like he's playing zone, too, at that point, right? I mean, and that's where Edey's the most comfortable and the most dangerous. So not a good, ideal situation for Illinois.
No.
Because he can literally own the middle. He can impact every shot, right? He can wall up. He's going to get every rebound off a miss.
Yep.
So that's not a great situation to have. Would he guard him to start? Probably not. But could they have a scenario where they're switching off, and that's the guy you're going to switch on, that's this guy you're not going to switch on? We're not going to allow you to switch on Goody, of course, because you take you to the corner and knock down a three. But you could switch on him, probably. I mean, I could definitely see that where that could be, realization.
It's something to look out for tonight with Illinois and Purdue in a game. The last time these teams met, it was at Mackey, and Purdue won that one, and now we're back at Mackey. Illinois does play Purdue again, I think, this season in Champaign. Is that correct? I think they play him twice. Hans D is here. He's going to check. I told you Hans would be here. He'd pop in.
You said he'd be here by 3:30.
And boom, he's here. If nothing else, he is. He's what? Not alert, but he's somebody that is prompt.
He's ready.
He's ready to go. Yeah, Hans, what are you doing?
I'm getting paid, so I got to show up on
That's
on
right.
time.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. I mean, you're getting not just paid. It's like paid.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much he's paid.
It is ridiculous.
You guys both have your Illinois gear in. I came straight from the office, so I've got actual.
You work today?
Almost work clothes. Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I had to work the entire day, too.
Like a Friday from like 8 to 3?
Yeah. It was not easy. Like, I had to take, I did an IV like at 1. Just to kind of.
Just to get through it.
Right. I had to get toweled off, and take an IV. And it's like, Lon, you can do this. I had a couple of coaches there, kind of in my ear saying.
You had a conference call. You can do this.
I did come off a conference call, and I had 15 texts from our group. And I'm like, holy crap.
There's a lot going on tonight, Lon. There's a lot going on.
I looked down at my phone and I had 18 texts. I'm like, what in the hell?
Listen, we got birthdays, we got STM.
There's a lot of
stuff. We got Illini, Purdue. There's
transfer,
a lot going
NIL.
on.
We got stuff working.
We got a collective rolling.
Yes, Hans.
Illinois will be playing Purdue. Purdue's visiting March 5th.
Oh, that's right. It's one of the last games.
Yes.
It's probably a Monday at 5:30.
Yeah.
That'll really Monday at 5:30.
It is a 6 p.m. game.
Yeah. On Peacock. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Both games last night on Peacock, so I didn't make any effort to see those games. But how bad is Michigan?
Thankfully bad.
You lost at home to Minnesota. I mean, how bad can you be? That is atrocious, is what it is. Atrocious. All right, 217-359-2255. 217-359-2255. That is how you reach us on the U of I Atlantic Link text line. Scott had sent something in about Terrence Shannon. I had to kind of pause because I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to miss breaking news, but it is not. He just said I didn't think I'd be excited for a game, this excited for a game after Terrence Shannon, right? So soon. And, of course, that's a big one tonight at Purdue. That's going to be fun. All right, Hans D is here. He will run us in the 4 o'clock hour in terms of the Who You Got. We're going to hear a little Brad Underwood next hour as well. But when we come back, our guy, Derek Piper, is in Indiana. He's in West Lafayette, and he will be joining us to chat some Illinois and Purdue. So stick around for that. It is my first time running the board. So far, so good because I haven't had to do anything. But here comes the first of numerous things that could go very, very wrong today.
What's your song?
I'm not going to play a song out because I don't know how to fade it.
Oh, my God.
I didn't learn how to fade on this before playing the next commercial, Hans. So, I mean, I can play it with – I can fade it like here. I know what you're doing. I saw what you're looking at.
This is your first time?
Yeah. So, this is a little nerve-wracking.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like it's 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm running the board for the first time ever.
What a difficult
Look
day
who's
for
back.
you.
Oh, man.
Look back again.
I mean, you work 8 to 3.
And now I'm doing
and now
pressure.
you're doing the board? Oh, jeez.
Hey, don't worry. It's like the 4-day work week, too.
Well, right.
It wasn't a 5-day work
I can't imagine that.
It's just incredible. I did see your flight path the other day. How many flights have you taken in the last week?
Oh, in the last week?
What was I looking at on Facebook?
That was like 2023, all my flights.
Oh, I thought that was like in a week. Hell, you had me fooled that Hans was like doing big things.
Have you ever thought about just sneaking on?
You know what? He told me one day that I could possibly do
Assistant captain.
Can we just have a rolling party in the air? Obviously, you would not be able to party.
Damn.
Can we bring, like, who's your partner in, what's the DJ?
George. Flight crew.
So can George set up on the plane, and then we get like 10 of us, and we literally just fly around Champaign for like an hour, like 2 hours, drinking some beer?
Booze cruise.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of yeses.
I guarantee you we could get 10 guys immediately
before the show's over.
Before this segment is over. And here comes the first shot at commercials. Let's hope they play. Derek Piper joining us next on the Tapman's Towing phone line. Can't wait. It is The Drive.
A tradition of excellence that's 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Looking for a way to give back to your community, learn new skills, and make a real difference? Consider volunteering with your local fire department. 7 out of 10 firefighters and emergency responders are volunteers, answering the call when their community needs them the most. Be part of a dedicated team of volunteers who step up and protect their community from all types of hazards. You can be the difference.
Call your local village office or reach out on social media. A big thanks to those who are volunteering to be a part of the fire department from Stevie J Broadcasting.
I help kids heal, learn, and grow.
I provide hope.
I make an impact.
Ready for a career where you can make a difference and impact the lives of vulnerable youth? Then it's time to join our team at Cunningham Children's Home. We are hiring staff to provide care and supervision in our residential and educational programs. Full and part-time positions are available. Bilingual positions also needed. Cunningham Children's Home. Hope begins here. Visit cunninghamhome.org and click Join Our Team.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
Mom, she won't stop touching me. Broccoli stinks.
Guys, no phones at the table.
Family dinner time? Not easy. But you know what is easy? OSF On-Call Urgent Care. When you need convenient, affordable care for minor illnesses and injuries, you need OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Be seen in person or connect 24/7 online when and where you need it. Learn more at osfoncall.org/urgentcare.
It's the Cardinal Caravan 2024, and it's free! Coming Friday, January 12th at the iHotel and Conference Center. Doors open at 11. The program starts at noon. Who's coming? How about superstar Jordan Walker, Andre Palante? Also, Chip Carey will be the MC, and Benji Molina and Brad Thompson will be there as well.
The St. Louis Cardinal Caravan, coming to iHotel and Conference Center at 1900 South First Street. Doors open at 11. The program starts at noon. Raffle tickets are sold to benefit Restoration Urban Ministries. Kids with items to get autographed are top priority and will go through the line first. Learn more about the St. Louis Cardinals Caravan number 4 at cardinals.com/caravan.
Join us at the iHotel and Conference Center for this free event. The Cardinal Caravan 2024, 11 a.m. The doors open. The program at noon. Autographs will be available afterward. We'll see you there.
Oh, yeah, baby. All right. Hans, you're a Cardinals fan. Oh, wait, you're not, so I'm shutting you off. Jason, you're a Cardinals fan.
Yes, sir.
Yep, so that's all I care about. We don't care about Hans anymore. The Cardinal Caravan is next Friday. It's literally a week from today. It will have already been done a week from today, but it starts, doors open at 11, program starts at noon, and it's free. Everything's free at the iHotel and Convention Center, and we have a great caravan coming to Champaign. Jordan Walker is coming to town. I cannot wait to just see him in person, how big that dude is. So Jordan Walker will be here. Andre Palante, who I think is going to have to be big for the Cardinals out of the bullpen. Packy Norton from that left side will have to be big as well. Victor Scott II, he's a kid that stole 92 bases last year. He's kind of for a future, we hope, in the outfield. Also, Chip Carey will be here to MC it. Brad Thompson, you see him all the time on Bally Sports Midwest. And then, of course, Benji Molina as well. So, again, noon is when the program starts. The way it works is they will all kind of meet and greet. Chip Carey will MC it for a while. You'll hear from the players. And then we will turn the mic over to Stevie J, who lets then the crowd ask questions. And then when that's done, kids first, but you can go up and get autographs as you go. So it's always a fun time. And at the end, you can buy raffle tickets. I know that goes to a good cause, and you can win prizes, Cardinals prizes at the end. So make sure you are in attendance next Friday. I know I will be there. I know Derek Piper is expecting to be there, but the good Lord could have a say in that, Derek Piper, with regards to a child. But we think you're going to be there, and you and Jordan Walker are going to go one-on-one in a little interview. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up? That sounds awesome. I'm also going to bring my son. My wife's going to come by. Like you said, willing that the daughter does not show up and say maybe, hey, I want to come as well. But if she wants to pop up here anytime between now and next Friday. But, yeah, really excited to meet Jordan Walker, do an interview with him for the show, obviously. And I've talked about throughout the week that I'm bringing my Jordan Walker rookie card, and I'm going to put it in my son's hands, and hopefully it makes its way into his to be able to get the Sharpie and the name on the card. So really excited for that. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for Cardinals fans to come out and enjoy what's a pretty loaded field, in my opinion. Chip Carey, I think, is one of the best broadcasters out there. Would love to. I didn't get a chance to meet Benji Molina last year at the Cardinal Caravan. I wasn't in attendance, so I'm fired up for this thing, man.
Benji Molina is so fun. He is just. I mean, he is. Yeah, I think Yachty probably has a good personality, but we always saw him as kind of just, it was all business. Benji's the opposite. Like, he's hilarious. And so if you get a chance to visit with Benji, I know he and Stevie always have a great time, and I'm guessing Stevie will have him on that day early to get everybody ready for that. But excited for that for sure. But we got some other things to do, including an exciting game tonight in West Lafayette, Purdue and Illinois. I don't know if the line has changed from 10.5, that Purdue is a pretty good, I mean, that's, I'd say, a heavy favorite when you're 10.5, double digits, excuse me. Has anything changed in your mind, Derek Piper, now that you're kind of on the scene and getting a feel for the game? Are you still kind of feeling like that's a fair, accurate line in terms of this game?
I get why it's that high. It's the fact that you're missing an All-American, and obviously you're going to a place that is the toughest place to play in the Big Ten and one of the toughest in the country. The fact of, I was looking over the last 4+ seasons, Purdue's lost, I think, 4 games at home in the Big Ten. So it's been a really tough building to walk into. The student section, which I know they're on break, but Joey Wagner and I, as we're driving over to West Lafayette, we're just discussing. I mean, I think people are kidding themselves. They don't think that the paint crew is going to find their way back from break, a Friday night game at Mackey against a top 10 opponent, and then go out and celebrate if they do win. Obviously, Illinois is going to try to spoil their fun and go in there even without their All-American and find a way to continue this role which they're on. So I think that's the other side of it. I think if you're going eye test, you're watching what Illinois has done of recent. Obviously, Purdue is an entirely different test beyond FDU, but even Northwestern, even though Northwestern did beat them, so that's kind of the caveat. It's like, I'm confused. Like, okay, Illinois beats Northwestern by 30. Northwestern beat Purdue. Illinois beat Purdue by 30. No, I of course kid on that standpoint. But Zach Edey's a problem. I do think Illinois, matchup-wise, can create some issues, though. Obviously, Coleman Hawkins, his ability to stretch the floor, shoot the three. I mean, the guy's hit 50% from beyond the arc the last 4 games. Really, for me, is just kind of the ping pong going on in my head is all right, I think it's going to be, no doubt, a high-level matchup. Maybe the 2 best teams in the Big Ten. Wisconsin's going to have something to say about that. Same thing with Michigan State with how they're playing of recent. But the talent beyond that is just the schematic chess match between Brad Underwood and Matt Painter tonight. I think is going to be really fascinating because there are different things that both sides can do to the other that can cause some issues. And while you say, Edey versus Hawkins on one end, Edey is 6 inches taller and 75 pounds heavier, and probably gets a guy that obviously Hawkins doesn't want to guard one-on-one in the post. But at the same time, at the other end, what if Edey's trying to get out or either going to stay in the lane and not get out to the three, and if Coleman's continuing to hit it, if he tries to go out, Coleman off the dribble, beat him off the bounce, and also open up the lane for Illinois' booty ball as well. There are different counters that both can throw at the other in terms of, Illinois doubling Edey, Purdue saying, hey, actually we're not going to put Edey on Hawkins. We're going to have him shade Ty Rodgers or however they might approach this. So I'm just really, really interested for the chess match and two coaches that over the last 4 years have been the winningest in the Big Ten during conference play. Of course, Brad leads them all as far as the record, but Matt Painter just a few games behind with what he's been able to do as well.
Yeah, the environment tonight's going to be unreal.
Oh.
I mean, it's Mackey, Friday night, 8:30. I mean, like you said, students are going to be there. If you have a ticket to this game, you're driving back. If you have an apartment already, you're already paying for it. And they're going to be ready to rock and roll and try and, rip those nets down after the game. So, huge game for Purdue for sure. I think for Illinois fans, it's just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Illinois has played so well the last couple of games. Played unbelievable against Northwestern. That as fans, they're like, okay, it's 10.5. I guess that's the night that Illinois doesn't show up.
Right.
Derek, do you feel like that's Illinois kind of gotten over that hurdle, being an older, more together team, or do you feel like that could really happen tonight?
I don't think there's any issue with kind of their approach and how locked in they'll be. I guess maybe it would just be regression in terms of their shot making. This is a team that earlier in the year still was having similar issues with their three-point shots, with their productivity at the free throw line as well. If any of that slips tonight, that's going to be playing into, obviously, Purdue being able to probably build a lead and stay in control. So I've talked a lot about the sample size from December 1st and on. Of course, a good chunk of that was with Terrence Shannon, but still, with Illinois' productivity, a big part of that has been shooting the three a lot better. They're 37% from beyond the arc during that stretch. They've hit double-digit threes in each of the last three games, and of course, they've eclipsed 90 as a whole in terms of their point total. But if for whatever reason Coleman Hawkins doesn't have it going from beyond the arc, if Quincy Guerrier is going to struggle and take a step back in terms of just an off night, and look, that could be just how basketball goes. And usually it's harder to get in the rhythm with your shot making when you're on the road. And also got to give Purdue their due. If you look at their stats, they're top 20 in the country in limiting teams from three in terms of percentage. Teams are shooting about 28% from three against the Boilers on the season. And it's not like they've played a cupcake schedule. They've played a lot of top 25 caliber teams: Arizona, Alabama, Marquette, Tennessee, some really good squads. So for that stat to hold up, it says something about their ability to get out there and defend. So I think that's something that I look at it from Illinois standpoint. Also, while I'm one that I don't like to dwell on the ref angle, a bad whistle or whatnot. When you're playing on the road, when you're playing Zach Edey, a guy that draws the most fouls in the country, you got to think about it and wonder, what happens if Coleman gets a couple of early ones. I think that's something that obviously could sway this game where while Dane has played better of late, the last two games, even though he didn't play a lot against Northwestern, I thought his minutes were pretty good. I just think that matchup is so different if Coleman's on the floor versus if Zach is battling Dane because of the fact that Dane's going to be around the paint where Zach's comfortable, and you're not putting Purdue in a bind at all in terms of, okay, how do we guard this stuff? It's pretty self-explanatory, and Edey has that size advantage against Dane. If Hawkins is out there, there's a lot bigger of a quandary, I guess, to figure out. So, if Illinois plays the same type of game, it will be tougher than it was on Tuesday night. But if that same team, in terms of their execution, their ball movement, knocking down shots, just being that spirited and engaged, then the line could be very well off. I think it could be a game that goes down to the wire. But I think that there's also just kind of a baked-in expectation that at some point you're going to say, oh, that's why Terrence Shannon matters so much to Illinois.
Yeah.
Maybe it is tonight that that kind of comes back down to earth.
You know that voice, Derek Piper, co-host of The Drive with Tay and Piper. He is the lead basketball beat reporter for IlliniInquirer.com, and he's joining us on the Tapman's Towing phone line from West Lafayette. Tell me about everybody but Zach Edey, even down to like a Mason Gillis. I know you've got Lance Jones as a kid from SIU that we talked about can get really on a heater. He did the other night, hit like 3 threes in a row. Tell me about those two guards with Lawyer and Smith, and what can Illinois fans expect? I know we saw those two guards last year, but how much have they progressed in terms of their game? Because I think maybe it was fair. They got a lot of criticism, I think, late, especially when Purdue got upset in the NCAA tournament, and they kind of blamed it a little bit on those guards. So how much have they improved, and then what else will we see from this Purdue team tonight, not named Zach Edey?
Yeah, Smith and Lawyer definitely got a lot better this last year for a variety of reasons. Look at Braden Smith and pick and rolls has been one of the best in the country. When you look at his efficiency numbers, he's turned himself into one of the best mid-range shooters in college basketball. He's shooting about 52% from the mid-range, 49% from three. So when a lot of teams, whenever Zach goes out and tries to play that pick and roll game, they'll try to clog up that lane and cheat towards Zach. He's found a lot of success being able to step in and just knock down that 15 to 18 foot pull up jump shot. In terms of a comp, I'm not saying he's this guy, but Illinois pretty familiar with what that used to look like with Ayo coming off a screen from Kofi. Braden Smith able to knock that down at a pretty high clip, that mid range jump shot. So he's crafty and not the most explosive off the dribble, but he's got an ability to get where he wants to go. He's a tough, hard nosed guard. Which, of course, Painter's had a handful of those through the years that, he's going to play with max effort and try to, dive on the floor and do some of those hustle plays that obviously play into the ability to win a game. So Lawyer is someone that has improved his three-point efficiency a lot. I know that last year, early in the season, he had it going and really kind of tailed off late, which I know really not that uncommon for freshmen later in the season. So whether it's kind of the wear and tear of a year, whether it's teams kind of figuring out what you'd like to do, I think also teams kind of got keen to the fact that, hey, we could be physical with this guy. We can kind of get into him and make him uncomfortable. This year, you learn from those things. You learn how teams are going to guard you. You get in the weight room. So, he's gone from being, I think, probably 34, 35% from three last year to now, north of 45 plus. So he's been really efficient for three. Had 2 monster games in some big spots for them, 27 against Tennessee, also had 27 against Arizona, and he knocked down 5 threes in that one. So he's a guy that they like to run off screens. He's a guy that if Zach gets doubled, you can't help off of him because he's going to be able to knock that thing down. As you go around, Mason Gillis is someone on the note of three-point shooting off the bench. He's been a starter in the past. Come in and he's 6'6", 225. He's physical, good rebounder, but the ability to get hot from beyond the arc at times through his career. He had 9 threes against Penn State last year, so he has that ability. But he's actually coming off the bench this year because Trey Kaufman-Renn is starting at the 4, and he's someone that not a high usage guy offensively, but he's at 6'8", 210, 215, pretty decent athlete, good rebounder, gives them some size along with Zach. They'll play him anywhere, around 15 minutes, and then give Gillis his due off the bench as well. But we talked about it yesterday. Lance Jones, really, if I'm remembering correctly, I know, even from a Big Ten standpoint, when he joined that Boiler squad in the offseason, admittedly, I'm calling myself out for it, I didn't think a ton about it. I knew that he was a starter at SIU. I knew that he had been a decent player in the Valley, but I didn't think of him. I didn't even know he was going to be a starter for that team. So, for him to come in, he has made a difference. He's a nice complementary piece, a scorer, a guy that at times can get pretty hot from three. I went back and rewatched their game against Maryland earlier this week, and he had a stretch. He had 3 straight threes. And then, that's obviously a 9-point swing and a momentum builder. And then defensively, his metrics are really good. He's a good athlete, get out in transition, and then he's going to be able to have range and the type of quick twitch stuff athletically on defense that helps him grade out pretty well there. So it's a very, very good team. They have the ability to have depth. Caleb Furst off the bench, playing a little bit, and now the top 50 type recruit that actually played at a rival high school against Luke Goody. So I think that'll be kind of interesting dynamic there as well. And got a couple of freshmen too that are helping them out. Miles Colvin, and then another guy who brings some shot making in terms of a spot up shooter as well. So they're deep, they're good. Their guards have gotten a lot better, and I just think on the whole they're a load, especially offensively. They're number 2 in the country in offensive efficiency for a reason. Their defense is also pretty good. They're top 10 on that end too.
Yeah, obviously they're an absolute monster. They're number 1 for a reason.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, their schedule's been tough.
And have a monster.
And have an absolute monster. All-American Player of the Year, returning.
Yes.
Like Derek said, they had a great schedule. Every top 25 team they played, they beat. 5 of them already. So, Derek, where do you see? I'm pretty excited. I think Illinois has got a pretty potential advantage here in a couple spots. But where do you see the Roger Smith, Damask Jones, Goody Lawyer, where do you, out of those matchups, we already talked a little bit about Coleman and Edey and, on the post and stretch forward, making them run the floor and getting them out on the perimeter. But where do you see Illinois having more of an advantage over Purdue, just kind of mismatch-wise between those other guards?
Yeah, I do think it starts there if Purdue's going to have Edey on Hawkins. I think that opens up everything else and leads to some more opportunities for a guy like Marcus Damask to be able to get back into that mid-post action. And maybe even if Zach Leatherby's guarding Hawkins, or even if there's a situation where he's going to shade Ty Rodgers, as kind of hypothesized and thought maybe that's something they could look at. That still leaves potentially Damask on a smaller guard. You go across the board with Smith, with Jones, with Lawyer. I mean, Smith and Jones are no taller than 6'1", either of them. And then also, Lawyer's 6'4", but he's under 200 pounds. He's still pretty slight, and really a guy that has been one of the spotlight guys defensively that you want to attack when you're going up against Purdue. So whichever one of those that Marcus Damask or draw. One thing that I would wonder about, coming in and understanding kind of what he's doing here of late, maybe, Purdue brings in Mason Gillis off the bench and wants his physicality to match up against Damask. The good thing about Illinois is, well, if you could look to do that, then Quincy's a guy that maybe you put a smaller dude on and he's going to go to the glass and be able to be a little bit more physical. Maybe post Quincy or just have him attack off the dribble and use his physicality. So I think where you're really looking at it, though, if I'm Illinois, I'm hoping to get a good matchup on Marcus. I'm hoping to see as much of Edey on Hawkins as possible. And maybe even if you have the ability to have a Braden Smith or a Fletcher Lawyer on Ty and still to see Ty be aggressive off the dribble and going to the basket, I think that's something that, obviously he showed there early against Boo Buie. I think he continued to progress and get more confident with. So one of the roadblocks there, I think, for anybody that's trying to go to the rim is that Edey's going to be not far away. He's going to be nearby and can block and alter a lot of shots. So that's why I think the 3-point game for Illinois tonight is so important. Even if it's kind of the situation of let's get inside the arc, let's get the downhill action, and then force those collapsing defenders, and then kick it out for a three. I think that's going to be pretty important for Illinois. But Marcus Damask still have to be a really productive scorer, and I think the turnaround jump shots is the ability to kind of get into the teeth of the defense and get his one-on-one ISOs are things that Illinois definitely wants to see and is going to be important for him tonight. Because otherwise, if that's kind of neutralized and say Illinois has a less than ideal night for three, it's going to be tough to keep up with the Boilers.
Yeah.
There's no doubt they're going to have to hit open shots for sure. The one thing, though, we were talking about earlier with you're talking about Edey kind of shading in the middle and kind of taking a little bit of maybe Rodgers or just trying to hang in there. There's no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what Matt Perrin wants to do, is try and keep him clogging up that middle and taking away anything downhill out of the lineup for sure. So I think that Illinois, if they get a mismatch, they're going to take advantage of it, and that's exactly what you've seen Brad Underwood do in the last 6 games or so, is he has looked for mismatch after mismatch after mismatch, and he's taken advantage of it. So no doubt about it, they're going to try do that again tonight against the number 1 team in the country and try and pull off a huge upset.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one thing is I've kind of thought about it, and people have brought up a good point. I know we talked about on the radio yesterday that if Ty's going to be kind of left alone on the perimeter, if say it is Zach just kind of from 12 to 15 feet out, just kind of shading him, if he's going towards the corner, then Zach's kind of on the baseline 15, and obviously at the top of the key, he's sitting there, just at or below the free throw line. That would allow Ty to be involved in screen action. We don't obviously have a real switch there.
Sure.
And if there is, then a lot of space in between the three-point arc and whenever you would get down to Zach Edey. But I think that's something that it'll be interesting just kind of how much Purdue's been able to rep that and figure that thing out. Because if they do execute it effectively, the way I would do it is I'd go under every handoff, under every screen from Ty. Now that could allow some quality looks from a guy that gets into the handoff like if you hand off to Luke Goody and you go under, then obviously that's a clean look from three. That's something that Illinois can try to take advantage of. Same thing. Although Marcus Damascus so far is shooting 20-21% from three on the season, he's got to get going again from beyond the arc. That's something that if I'm Purdue, I might take my chances on that versus allowing him allowing Ty to not be guarded by Edey, and then obviously kind of open up the floor for what Illinois wants to do. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like, what can you do to take a team out of what they practice, out of what they are accustomed to doing? Painter's a really, really good coach. I wouldn't be surprised if he has in mind, okay, let's see if them do something a little bit off script, something a little bit outside of their comfort zone and their norm, especially a team that's put up 90+ here recently. So I haven't seen a team just say, hey, we're going to sit in the paint and leave Ty kind of all by himself, similar to what DeMonte Williams was done against Penn State a handful of years ago. And then on the flip side, I think as you look at it with Purdue and Edey, not that they haven't probably seen the kitchen sink thrown at him each every opportunity, any type of look, any type of double, any type of anything, but maybe you try to vary up the way you guard him. You try to have help come from different areas, keep him guessing a little bit, keep Purdue a little uncertain of where that opening is going to be. Because when you're predictable, Purdue's too good. They're shooting a lot better from three this year than they were last year. If they know where to spray it from or spray it to outside from Edey, they're going to knock down that shot more often than not, especially playing in the home building. So again, it goes back to just kind of this really, really interesting, really fascinating coaching and matchup type of clash. And by the way, they're two of the top 10 teams in the country, which makes it all the more fun too.
Nothing new on Shannon, correct? Just to make sure we clarify that.
Nothing new on Shannon. I did ask Brad yesterday, which I knew probably going to get a non-answer, but just knowing a lot of the questioning and there's a lot of rumors out there of. I just asked him straight up, hey, have you been given any indication that the conduct panel has met and made a decision? Are they still making a decision as far as the timeline goes? And he said that any change in his status will be then communicated by the athletic department and Josh Whitman. So the fact we have not heard anything, I assume, and would be shocked if he's not still indefinitely suspended. And yeah, I mean, until I think, well, we talked about it, until something changes as far as the legal status, as long as he's still charged with rape, I would be shocked if he is able to play and lifted over suspension. So that's still something that needs to continue to be monitored.
Makes sense. You've been on way too long. We apologize, Derek, but I know I saw your prediction today. I know Hans D will probably have Illinois winning tonight, but how about you, Derek Piper? What do you think in the end?
Well, I don't know anything because I had Illinois winning by 2 against Northwestern, and I won by 30. So, you guys might be encouraged that I am picking a different side here. So, I did pick Purdue. It's one of those, I know you guys talked about it in the first segment, like, this line stinks. Like, it's one of those where you're like, yeah, really? Is that right? But then it's also, a lot of times when that happens, it's, Vegas knows what they're doing. So, see it at 10.5. It definitely, number one, that got my attention a little bit. But even then, I think, as you think about how good Purdue is, it's a perfect spot for Illinois to kind of have a little bit of we're missing our All-American. Yeah. And then we went and played one of the toughest places in the country and fell short. So I put Purdue 84, Illinois 74, Boilers by 10. But would love to be wrong and love to come on the show on Monday and talk about being wrong, but more importantly, Illinois being the number one team in the country and having a 2-game lead on Purdue in the Big Ten standings. That would be a lot of fun. So let's plan on that, but just for the sake of predictions, I have Illinois falling short by 10.
There you go. It would be incredible, the hole you could kind of put Purdue in if you could win this game tonight, and, of course, 2 home games next week for Illinois, so you could really set up a fun next week for this Fighting Illini squad. Derek Piper, Tapman's Towing phone line. Always appreciate your thoughts, my friend. We will read all about it with Derek and then hear all about it on Monday. Thank you, sir.
Fun chatting with you guys. Lon, good job. I haven't had a text or a help me call yet, so you're running the ship quite well, and I'm proud of you, man. So good talking with you. I'll enjoy watching the game tonight. I'll definitely enjoy it over at Mackey, and we'll talk again on Monday.
You're awesome. Thanks, Pipes. Good stuff. Derek Piper. He doesn't even know that I actually moved a commercial, Hans D.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. And it worked. I think it worked. We're going to prove that here in a minute. I do need to do this. Hey, from day-to-day operations to long-term planning, running a family business is hard work. I know. To keep the family in family business, the experts suggest a few things. They want you to plan early, 5 to 15 years before the transition. Make sure you understand what is going to happen. Know the value of you. Overvaluing can impact stability and financial interests, and determine your successor. If it's unclear, take the time to examine the strengths and weaknesses of those who will succeed you. Whatever your financial needs, business and beyond, Busey promises the resources to help you succeed. Stop in to one of their many convenient locations. Call 1-800-67-BUSEY or visit Busey.com for all your financial needs. Busey, member FDIC. I'm member.
Real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Hi, I'm looking for a refrigerator.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Oh, yeah, well, I just need a refrigerator. Don't need the whole store.
But you get it, the whole store.
My kitchen is only about this big.
You get me.
Hello.
All those delivery, installation, and service technicians in back.
Wow, all those people?
The Dick Van Dyke 5-10-year protection plan, which means in the unlikely event something goes wrong in the first 5 years, your repair cost is nothing.
Nothing?
10 years parts coverage on the major components.
Looks like I'm getting more than a refrigerator today. How much does this whole store cost?
Nothing.
Come on.
For real. We guarantee to beat any competitor's deal, all that other stuff we talked about, like our service tax.
And your 5-10-year protection plan?
All included.
I'm Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we say you get the whole store, we mean the whole store. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
You're the site of Valley Forge in Pennsylvania. President Biden delivering his first speech of the year, an election speech, weighing in on the January 6th Capitol riot, his perceived threats to democracy, and former President Trump's efforts challenging the 2020 election results. Here's the president.
Trump exhausted every legal avenue available to him to overturn the election. Every one. But the legal path just took Trump back to the truth. That I had won the election and he was a loser.
On Monday, the president is planning to visit Charlottesville, Virginia to make remarks about political violence. Today does kick off a big weekend of campaigning for Republican presidential candidates just ahead of the Iowa caucuses.
The first contest in the Iowa presidential race less than 2 weeks away in Iowa, with Republican candidates canvassing the state to win over voters.
I'm asking you for your support
I'm looking forward to January 15th.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's been endorsed by Iowa's governor with stops statewide today, as well as Asa Hutchinson and Nikki Haley, who addressed recent attack ads against her by DeSantis and President Donald Trump.
Every one of those commercials is a lie.
The former president, the GOP frontrunner, delivering remarks today at 2 stops in Iowa, in Sioux Center and Mason City. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And Wisconsin's Democratic governor opposes keeping former President Trump off the ballot in that battleground state. In an interview Wednesday with the Associated Press, Governor Tony Evers saying that those who think he should be disqualified can, quote, vote against him. Evers' comments come with a planned filing of a lawsuit by Democratic activists aimed at keeping Trump off the ballot, arguing his involvement in the January 6th Capitol riot amounted to unconstitutional insurrection. Officials in Colorado and Maine, they've already banned Trump's name from primary election ballot. Trump asking the Supreme Court to overturn the Colorado decision. America's listening to Fox News.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
There's no better time than the new year to help protect your identity and finances. LifeLock detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. If you do become a victim, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com. Promo code CLAY to save 25%. That's LifeLock.com. Promo code CLAY.
The Attorney General says he thinks public safety is moving in the right direction. Fox's Ryan Schmelz with more details.
Touting a 6% drop in homicides nationwide since 2021, Attorney General Merrick Garland says more still needs to be done.
This is not a time to relax our efforts. We have so much more to do.
2021 was the year the Department of Justice launched a violent crime reduction strategy, which includes bringing new technology to local police departments to help with investigations. While some cities across the country have seen a drop in violent crime, the same can't be said for the nation's capital. When asked by Fox News if he has a plan to fight crime in Washington, the Attorney General said he would make an announcement on that very soon. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The mayor of New York City is taking a bus company to court over all the migrants that have been shipped to his town.
Mayor Eric Adams is now suing these charter bus companies that are bringing hundreds of migrants by the week here to the Port Authority in Manhattan. He says he is fed up and is blaming the governor of Texas, saying Greg Abbott is doing this as all of a big scheme. New York City is suing 17 charter bus companies for more than $700 million for busing migrants in from Texas. Mayor Adams blames them for these massive costs that the city has had to dish out continuously to feed, house, and even offer services to the migrants for the past 2 years, and it's not slowing down.
That's Fox's Alexis McAdams reporting for Port Authority in New York City. And Wayne LaPierre, a man who's been running the National Rifle Association since the 90s, says he's now stepping down. The announcement comes just days before the start of a civil trial where he and other NRA officials are accused of misappropriating the group's money. The New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, filing a lawsuit charging LaPierre of spending NRA money on luxury car services and private jet flights. The 74-year-old LaPierre issued a statement announcing his resignation. I'm John Saucier, and this is Fox News.
It is The Drive, ESPN Radio 93.5. Good afternoon, The Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lon Tay, no Derek Piper today, but you just heard from him, for goodness sakes, for 30 minutes. He's in West Lafayette today. Jason Thompson is in with me. I love having Jason come in and fill in. Our buddy Corey Witt, he's going to join us maybe the next time. I think it's a road trip to Michigan when I'm already setting your schedule, Jason.
Perfect. Somebody needs to.
Somebody needs to. We'll have you come in, and Kyle will probably be here, and we'll just have a good time and talk Illinois basketball. Hans D is here as well. We got the Who You Got coming up at 4:30. We're going to hear from Brad Underwood here soon. Anything that Pipe said there that I know you asked some really solid questions about Illinois and kind of getting nitty-gritty with this. Sometimes you said it in the first hour, Jason. Sometimes it comes down, and it's so hard in college basketball because college basketball is essentially a game of runs. And it will be hard for Illinois to, not that they can't go on their own, but when you're on the road and you just hear silence when you've hit 2 threes in a row, that's not as great as when you're at home and you hit 2 threes and then the place is just, you can't even hear. So I guess how tough is it going to be tonight when Purdue does kind of make that run? Do you feel like with this experienced team of Illinois it won't make as much a difference?
I do.
You hope, right?
You do. I mean, that's the reason about, getting older. Having guys that have been around a long time, been in environments just like this many times, having a tough, preseason schedule, being prepared. But like I said, my fear is who's the guy that's the calming factor? Who's the guy that runs, grabs the ball, and says, I'm going to get a bucket, it ends right now, and then we're going to be fine. That's who's going to have to step up tonight.
That's a great point. Kyler texted in on the U of I Atlantic League text line last hour. He said with a 30-point win against Northwestern and a could-be win against the number one on the road, where do you see Illinois being ranked next week with a win tonight? I think you'd be top 5.
I'd say you're 5, yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be with regards to going to the number one team in the country. And, again, Illinois would make history tonight if they do this because a Fighting Illini team has never beaten a number one team on the road. So now, and I'm talking at their place, not in a non-conference.
0-8.
Or not non-conference, but
0-8 ever on the road against the number one.
Yep. What am I trying to say? Oh, neutral site. Sometimes I always use non-conference in that. All right, Brad Underwood had a chance this week. Obviously, not had a chance. He loves doing this. He chatted with the Illinois media to get an idea of how this team and this game will roll. So let's hear a little bit of Brad Underwood as he met with the media. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because Lon is admittedly running the board for the first time. So,
dude, you're rocking it, though. You are rolling today.
Let it play.
63%.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Shot the ball well from the three as well. But really pleased with the first 30 minutes of that game. Just our defensive intensity was really solid. I thought we got a little bored late, and then I thought our ball movement was very good. We exploited some opportunities to cut. We exploited some opportunities to post different guys, and then I thought that. We weren't great, but we were really good on the glass in terms of limiting them to one shot. And then, now it's a different animal in terms of Purdue. I think that, it's such a unique situation to have a reigning National Player of the Year return. He's probably more dominant than he was last year, in my opinion. He's a guy that forces defenses to react to him, and everybody else gets to play off of him. Those two guards aren't freshmen anymore; they're sophomores. They've expanded their roles. They're playing a little freer. They've obviously seen a lot. They've been challenged with Maui, with a couple of neutral site games with Arizona and Alabama. So it's a well-tested team. Matt's a terrific coach. It's in their venue. But all that being said, doesn't mean we're going to show up and not compete, not fight, not be ready to play. So. Excited about the opportunity, and we'll 1 versus 9 and in conference play is always a good thing when you get 2 top 10 teams compete.
This team has seemingly not lost any confidence in the last 2 ball games. How have they done that?
They got a lot of confidence in themselves. They're old. They're mature. I think that we had a 1.43 OER, which was a season high against a team that last year led the Big Ten in defensive in all the defensive numbers. But again, it's IQ, it's feel. I think there's a lot of weapons. And I say that in terms of being able to shoot it, pass it, post it, drive it. We've seen Justin become quite an offensive threat. We saw Dane the game before. So it's developing, but it's confidence that those guys have in their abilities and then each other.
Certainly every game's the same, Brad, with your opponent, but playing number 1 obviously brings a little bit more for the fan base and an opportunity to play a number 1 team. Like, how do you approach that knowing this is a good opportunity for you guys?
Yeah, we don't play it up as much as what maybe the fans and you all do. It is unique. I think you don't see it every day, and especially within conferences. But you know what you get every time you play Purdue. You get a well-coached team that's going to play exceptionally hard. This is a veteran team, but it's a game on Friday night in the middle of conference play, and both of us happen to be having really, really good seasons, and both of us are going to have games after this one. So, it's important, and you want to go play, and you want to play well, we've got 17 or so more after this.
Zach's a 1 of 1. We've seen a lot of dominant bigs in this league, though, including when you had Kofi, Garza. How does Zach stack up to those guys? Just what makes him so tough?
He's gotten so much better from his arrival, and that's a tribute to them. But you just don't see 7'4" and 300 pounds, and we had Big Kof, and Kof was 7 foot and 300, but it's amazing just what the extra 4 inches does. And Kofi was a dominant player in some different ways, but I think that in my time in college basketball, I've never seen a more dominant center.
A couple years ago, they called Kofi the most difficult guy to officiate. People hang out and people bounce off him. Is Zach pretty much the same way?
He can be. I think that you have to understand that how big he is. What his ability to draw fouls, has become a very good free throw shooter. I think that I wish Kofi would have got some of the calls that he seems to be getting, but yeah, he's big, and because he's 7'4", I don't think you can just assume that he's getting fouled on every play. I think he's got to earn the right, but he does get fouled a lot. There's no doubt.
Does it trickle down from the NBA to college into like dunks and threes, like maybe the most efficient shots? But have you seen maybe an opportunity to exploit having guys that can do what they do in the mid-range? It's kind of maybe a lost art in some places.
Absolutely, and I think that we're a team that likes the mismatch and the cross match, and I think that everybody who's done it to this point, we've been able to find a way to exploit it, whether it was putting centers on tie, whether it was cross-matching 4s and 5s, whether it was playing to a switch. The mid-range game is definitely something that we've got some guys pretty good at, but it's also just the shots at the rim we're getting. And most of that becomes just simply finding a matchup we like and not overcomplicating things. So we'll continue to explore. We've got a wide variety of things we can do, but we do feel very strong about that in certain matchups.
It seems like a week or two ago we talked about Ty maybe getting more aggressive, looking to find his opportunities to score. It seems like that's started to happen. Like, what's been behind maybe him building that confidence to take advantage of some of those opportunities?
Well, he's 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan. I mean, Ty was a high school center, and at different times, and he knows what he's doing down there. He's got great footwork. He's got great pivots. He can use either hand. He's very crafty. He's gained a ton of confidence because he's not afraid to get fouled anymore. He's stepping up, banging free throws, and he's so fast. He takes up space and creates angles, and he's an exceptionally good ball handler. And those are all things that he's able to exploit, and we want to exploit. We love it when he's wheeling and dealing in the paint.
What do you see from Coleman Hawkins? Seems like he's played his best basketball of his career over the last few games.
Coleman's been phenomenal. He's kept the game very simple. He hasn't. He's shooting it at an elite rate. I want him to shoot every opportunity he gets. What he does defensively, what he does with the intangibles of the game, are so much more than what he brings and show up in a stat sheet. So, he's playing great, and he's going to continue to do that. And we keep growing our package with him, and he's doing a great job playing off these other guys right now.
You mentioned the guards aren't freshmen anymore. Where do you see them take the biggest leaps as sophomores now?
I think Matt trusts them. I think that Braden has become, just a little, for lack of a better term, I don't know what the right word is. He's free. He's shooting it when he's open. Both of them have had huge nights in big games, and he's kind of the head of the snake, so to speak. But they're playing a little faster. They're still running a million sets, and that's what they do. But last year he might come off a ball screen and be open and be hesitant and looking to throw it to Zach. This year he's shooting it, and he's gotten stronger. He's more active on the defensive side. He's just really developed into a really, really good college guard.
Brad, there's obviously a lot of outside noise about Terrence. Is that something you have to talk to the guys about in terms of blocking it out, or is it something that's kind of policing itself within the locker room?
Yeah, they handle themselves. And we're worried about Purdue. We're worried about the next game. I think that's the only way that we can handle things is that next game mentality. We've been very, very good about it to this point, and I love the maturity these guys are showing in the togetherness and the connectivity that we've got. So it's all next game up. It's all Purdue today, and get ready for tomorrow, and then whoever's in the next one, it'll be all about that. So, love their maturity.
You had a common opponent. Have you watched a lot of the film of their game against Northwestern? What kind of happened with that game?
I actually got a couple. Marquette was early, but different games, just different. I think our styles are a little bit different, but the Marquette game was interesting. It was kind of a free flowing, and Northwestern, Boo did what Boo does, so we watch it, but every game's different. We're a little different than both of those teams, so there's no doubt you've got to play very, very well to beat Purdue and do it on their court.
obligatory Nico question. What's his status for tomorrow? I mean, it's the timeline will all become more clear. I know there's been scans being made.
There's all kinds of scans now. It's just the back to play process that he's going through. And again, I think any time that we want to be very clear about a foot injury, you don't rush that. You're not trying to be Superman and say I'm good. You want it to be 100% healthy, so there's no recurrence of an injury. So he's back to that process, and when they all tell us he's good, he'll be in a uniform, and we hope that's sooner than later. But it will not be for tomorrow.
How was that process different with him, maybe than an older guy, since he hasn't had that experience on the court, if at all?
Yeah, I think it's more the individual and what the individual can handle. I think the one thing that Nico's done is he's stayed very involved in practices with film. He's relentless. I think all of our recovery stuff here has helped expedite that process some. So, but he's a very mature freshman, and he's very basketball savvy. So I think all those things will help him in his return to play.
You talked about how competitive this team is since the summer. I'm sure they're excited to go compete against number one.
I would hope so. If they're not, we'll be in for a long night. I think the one thing that we've taken a lot of pride in is being that very competitive, and I enjoy this team a great deal in practice because they compete. And it doesn't matter if they're shooting drills, it doesn't matter if it's one-on-ones, it doesn't matter. Yesterday after practice, we had a group stay and play one-on-one and compete, and then the trash talk and the competing and the noise is fun to see because it's not every team has that, and you've got to go play very hard to win on the road in this league, and to do that you've got to compete and have an innate desire to want to win, and this group's got a lot of those qualities.
Brett, by design, you're not involved in the review process with Terrence, but if you've been given an indication the contact panel has ruled, or if they have a timeline for that?
Yeah, the one thing that I think Josh made pretty clear was we'd let you guys know if there's any updates on any of that, and so I'll stick to basketball and get ready for Purdue.
Justin's role has grown and grown. How is he relishing with, at least for the last two games, being what looks like the sixth man?
He's a good player, and I've said many times it just takes a little bit of time sometimes to transfer to find your way and to find your role and to find your niche. And I think the one thing that he's understanding, there's opportunities where they're at. I think he's made the jump from the level that he was at to the Big Ten level and high major level, and he's found out what he can do and can't do. And Justin is a really, really good offensive player, and he's gained my confidence, and we've started to see that. And I knew he was a tough guy and a guy that would guard and rebound and do those things, but he's been excellent on the offensive end as well.
Free throws were a concern earlier in the year. Is there something that you said to correct that? Just practice seemingly been fixed, Brett?
Get Marcus to the foul line. We shoot a lot. As a former player, how mental sometimes free throw shooting can be. It's not a physical thing sometimes. It's really a mental thing. Quincy was in here yesterday shooting a bunch of free throws because he was upset he missed the front end of a one-on-one, and Coleman, the end of practice yesterday, same thing. He was mad because he missed, and so guys are taking pride in that. We do practice them a lot, but it's really a mental thing, and you get guys with confidence that they can get to that foul line. Helps that percentage a lot.
Passing out of the post has been really good. Is that enhanced when you play a team with a dominant big man like Purdue?
Well, their tendency has been to double, so I hope so. I thought we did a great job against Northwestern. Not good, great job of handling, because they came from many different angles. They came from the low, they came from high, they came with the big. And when we did get trapped, there wasn't just panic. We split them, we stepped through. We found open guys, we found the cutters. I think that when the floor's open and spaced, it gives you those opportunities. But we got Luke on a cut, we got Quincy on a couple cuts, we got Justin on a cut. And all those things become really hard to guard when you got two guys around the ball in a post trap. So it's been a good thing. Yeah, it's been a good thing.
You mentioned that
this will be our last one here.
That Zach is more dominant this year than a year ago. In what ways has maybe he improved?
I think he's really, really comfortable with his teammates. I think that there was a reliance, and just as an observing coach, I think there was such a reliance on him last year to be the guy all the time. He still is that guy, but you see him almost playing better just because their other guys are doing more. And that's he's got a great ability to offensive rebound. He's they shoot a lot of short shots. Short shots equal short rebounds. He draws a ton of attention. I think he's become a better passer. I just don't think he's got a ton of weaknesses. And at 7'4", that's something that you're concerned about, because he elevates everybody else on the glass. He elevates those other foremen, the shooters, and it's just more comfort for him. I think I see his comfort as a player, those other guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's deep. Left center field. It's a gunner! Cardinals Nation, the Cardinals Caravan, presented by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, is coming your way. It's your chance to get up close and personal with your favorite team. Get the latest scoop on the upcoming season from current players, Cardinals alumni, and broadcasters. Plus, there will be raffle prizes and autographs for the kids. Folks, jump on the Caravan, the Cardinals Caravan. Rolling into Champaign on Friday, January 12th. For more information, visit cardinals.com/caravan.
Since Busey Bank first opened our doors in 1868, we have built upon a tradition of close relationships and broad financial capabilities. Our experienced team provides the highest level of personalized service to ensure we accomplish your goals, simplifying your wealth management and business lending needs, and ensuring a legacy for generations. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Amanda Jean, the founder and planner of Inspire Your Wedding and Events. Join us for premier, interactive, inspirational, and immersive wedding showcase, bringing together wedding vendors and couples from all over Central Illinois. Curated design looks for your ceremony and reception table decor, savory and sweet bites, alongside complimentary signature cocktails and champagne as you walk the space enjoying, connecting, learning, and booking wedding vendors for your magical day. For more information about attendee tickets, go to inspireyour.com.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window. And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks, get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
thought you'd want to hear some music for a while. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lonte. Derek Piper's in West Lafayette. So joining me here on the show is Jason Thompson. He's been here the entire time. Hans D was late, but he still makes millions, so it doesn't matter. He can come and go when he wants. He has been very helpful in terms of plugging in that next hour that you'll hear, hopefully, next hour. I think overall I'm giving myself like a 85% so far.
Yeah.
On the board. I
You're doing great.
Kind of let Brad Underwood end, and then there was that awkward silence. So that was my fault.
You're
there.
being very humble. 95.
95. Okay, yeah, compared to what I was thinking was going to happen. But I don't want to do that, though, because then it could really go off the track. So I better calm down on that. Jason Thompson, pride of Ford County, Illinois. You got Marin's birthday. Are you guys going somewhere to watch the game?
We're going to go right after this show to Sun Singer. And,
Nice.
and have dinner, and then
that's
we're gonna go catch the game, and then see what happens from there.
That's
So.
got to be cool with the daughter aspect. You know,
Well-
I don't have that, right? I just got the two boys. What's funny is you've got two girls.
Right.
So, but normally you are out with me when I've got my boys. So essentially you're like one of their dads. So
Part of the gang.
Right. So one of these days I got to go out with your daughters, like you and all of us. That didn't sound right, did it?
Columbia,
Hans?
South Carolina.
Exactly.
Here we come.
Exactly.
Road trip for the fall home football
And
game.
just get around the ladies as they're and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so
Uncle
much fun.
on, Uncle on, Uncle on. Hey, how scary is it that Underwood's on there saying that he feels that Edie's better and more comfortable than last year?
That's
the player of the year.
It's disgusting. And Jason, he could come back next year.
Oh, it's unreal.
He could use the COVID, I think, and come back next year, which we were talking a couple of weeks ago about three winning player of the year, 3 straight years. Bill Walton actually did it back in the day.
I mean-
So it would be unbelievable if that happened.
Any
but-
idea what his NIL is? Any idea?
Oh, we were thinking million.
Yeah. It's got to be.
I mean, if you're Purdue, you'd have to be giving him that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
With what he's worth to that.
I saw this week that he was logged as a potential lottery pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that would be incredible. I didn't know that. I thought, once again, he'd be kind of stuck in that spot, kind of like Kofi was.
Yeah, he was. Last year he was a second-round guy,
Mhm.
and then I just saw one of the major
Wow.
guys. He had him as a potential lottery pick,
Well.
and he said it's all because of his conditioning.
Oh, okay.
So he says conditioning's greatly improved, and he can run the floor. And
I can't imagine he couldn't have an impact in the NBA.
he's unreal.
I can't imagine that Kofi could not have had an impact in the NBA.
Speaking of Kofi, can we change the subject
Yeah,
for a second?
yeah.
His jersey's hanging from the rafters.
Right now it is?
Right now.
Yeah.
So, but we haven't had a moment. So, is there any conversation on when that's going to be? I mean, I'm sure he's playing. But
I see what you're saying. I was like, well, yeah, it's going up there. He was an All-American. I see what you're saying.
yeah, we haven't had an opportunity to celebrate that with Kofi back at
Interesting.
State Farm Center.
Well, maybe they asked him and said, hey, if you don't care, we're going to go ahead and put it up there now, and then when you come into town, we'll drop it and then raise
But
it.
they usually do, like they'll set a
Yeah.
date, right? Hey, against next Thursday against Michigan State.
Exactly.
Everybody be there. We're going to do it, but we're going to go ahead and put it up now. So if you could figure that out, Tay, I'd really appreciate it.
Maybe somebody knows. Listen, our listeners are incredible when it comes to stuff like this.
If you are connected to Kofi and you have his number, can you text him and ask him when he's coming back? Because I want to be there.
I love it.
King Kofi.
Sean on the U of I Illini Lake text line, 10.5-point dogs is disrespectful. Go Illini.
Facts.
So we'll do that. 217 just got off work and it's top 10 matchup on a Friday. Let's drink and let's win. You know what? We have the drink button now. This is going to be another. You know what? Never underestimate. Never underestimate Lonte. With that text, actually, you should always underestimate Lonte. Always. I mean, there's a chance that I'm probably going to falter on whatever you're expecting. But with that text, you know what? It is high time, right? It's Friday. We're getting ready for Who You Got. Hans D is like, of course, you're going to talk till the end of the show to where I hardly get any kind of a Who You Got. But until then, let's raise. I gotta lift this. I know what they come in. It doesn't come in hot. So we got to go a little higher here. Things are working. Let's get them up. It's Friday, Illinois-Purdue. It's a top 10 matchup. I've got a high school game to go to. Jason's daughter, Marin, just turned 19 today. I mean, let's do that for her, even though she's not allowed to drink.
We can in her honor.
Okay, we'll do it in her honor. That's exactly right. Here you go.
Happy hour.
That's just pretty. That's a delightful sound. I don't know. There's a lot of adjectives that I could use. Yes, Hans.
I just thought of an idea.
What's that?
Right before a beat drop, we play that, the flight crew.
Oh!
People would go crazy.
Things are really coming together.
By the way, we've got like 4 people that are already wanting on the plane when we do the Party Above Champagne. We got to think of a name for it. Like,
we'll have to do a party in Philo. We just need a venue.
Yeah. Well, no, wait. Let's don't get off the thought of the plane.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can do a party in Philo whenever. I want to do this above Champagne.
You could do the party in Philo in 22 minutes.
Hell, people come in now. Just come on over. Let's party. No, don't, because we all have to leave immediately after this.
Happy New Year.
That's funny. Yeah, so, like, if we rented a plane, like, above Champagne for an hour, what would that, is that going to be costly? It's going to be
not
pretty
too
cool.
bad, actually.
Not too bad?
If we're splitting it among
be like,
so many people.
Be like 10 of us. Well, how much does a plane hold?
Well, the plane that I have access to that I can fly friends in, there are 3 other seats.
Okay, this probably isn't good that we're like
if we're
saying
taking
this on the radio, because now the FAA or whatever be like, okay, anytime this plane starts to leave, I want to go on and get the alcohol count, not of the pilot, but of how many.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Beers are going on this plane. Is it legal for like Jason and I to sit behind you and have a drink?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's the Lear, we could fit 9 people.
Oh, that's starting to sound expensive.
Boom
It
shakalaka.
I mean, anytime you throw Lear in. So if I said to you we would each throw in $200.
Oh, that's not going to.
Not even close. Okay.
Doesn't get it brought up to the tarmac.
Yes, I'll give you that.
Can we just sit on it in the tarmac?
And be like, what's up? DJ, hit your tunes.
I mean, after 5 minutes, we're not going to realize if we're in the air or not.
And we're done. Yeah.
It looks like we are.
Yeah. I like this idea. All right, but the smaller plane, 200 each would get it.
Oh, for 5 hours.
Oh, for 5 hours.
Where we going?
It's not bad.
Oh. See, now you're bringing in another aspect of this. We could go somewhere. So, in other words, it'd be you and 3 of us.
Yep.
For 100 each.
Sure.
Plus tip. We're going to tip Hans.
Yeah.
At one point during the 2-hour ride, does Hans go, you know what? I'm bringing it down because I'm ready to party. He's like, we're going to stay here in Fort Wayne at the Luke Goody house. And so I'm ready to, this transcontinental flight is ending in Fort Wayne. That's exactly what we're doing. All right, Hans, are you ready to go with a little,
I am ready.
You know what we call it? Who you got? I guess this isn't long enough. Which one am I going to? Is it up? Oh!
There it is.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. First up on Who You Got.
Wow, you're using like a little iPad thing.
I am.
What do you call that?
That's an iPad.
Oh, I nailed it. All right. Gosh, Jason.
He's a genius, people. He's a genius.
He's definitely up in the 95 percentile right now for the day.
Things are just working out right now for me. I don't
What
know
a day.
why.
What a day. Maybe it's because you worked 8 to 5.
You know what? That's
Sorry,
what
8
it
to
is.
3. Sorry, 8 to 3.
And got that IV in between.
Yes.
I
mean, really, it is 8 to 5. I mean, he is
Yeah, that's
working.
true.
This is an actual
Very
work day for me that most everybody does every day.
You going to the beach Monday, Tuesday, to Wednesday? Got to recover.
I got to wait for Kyle to get back.
Yeah.
So
Get that on the books for like February 1st, all right? You are going to be tired.
Lucas the other day said, what do you do for the first couple days of NCAA tournament? And I'm like, well, the bad news is, like, I take it off from the office, but the bad news is Pipes is covering the game, so I've got to be here. So I can't be coming in destroyed to do the show, so I have to wait. And then, how about this? I don't know if this is smart or not, but on Saturday of that first weekend, I agreed to MC the Illinois High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame banquet.
Nice.
It's a blast.
At the I Hotel.
Yeah.
Have you been? Yeah,
I have.
you've been.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be MCing that.
You know whose job he took?
Who?
Jay Lehman's.
Oh, really? Lehman got away from it, huh?
He did it last year.
Okay, well.
And Coach B, be prepared when Bielema comes in. He's going to roast you.
Oh, is Coach B coming in? He doesn't know me, though.
Well,
I mean, he knows me. He's going to do his research.
He's going to be digging something up.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
So no, it's an unbelievable event.
Well, that's cool.
It's there's a ton of pride, a ton of emotion.
I bet.
Imagine doing something your entire career and having your entire family there, your community there, your old coaches there. It's really emotional.
I've got some cool stories from coaches that I'm in a unique kind of way. I've covered high school sports in Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, East and West almost. So not so much up north, but I've met a lot of coaches. So I've got some unique stories that I can tell myself. I won't go long. I'll let them have the show.
It's a great day. So congratulations
good.
for
Is
being
it
part
about
of that.
a 2-hour thing?
Well, it just depends. I don't know how many Hall of Famers you have.
I think there's a lot.
And and they deserve their time, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a couple hours.
Okay.
It's over 2.
So if Coach Wilson, I'm making that up, is going a little long, and I know that Illinois is tipping at 1. So if I'm just sitting there, hey, Coach, you got a minute.
You got to say, hey, this thing starts at 9, it ends at 12:30.
We are not going a minute over. So if you get the wrap it up sign from Tay, you got to wrap it up.
So usually that's during spring ball for Illinois football, and so Bielema will be at practice. A lot of those guys, from the staff,
they'll go.
So if it's you're the head coach going in or the retired coach going in, a lot of the staff will go to that and they'll change up and they'll come over, and then Bielema will finish up with the guys and he'll come over and say a few nice words about everybody.
That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be neat. And I don't know yet who the coaches are. I'm hoping that at least one of them is one that I've covered.
Yeah,
that'd be
awesome.
kind of fun to be able to do that. All right, Hansi, go to that iPad and take off.
All right. We got the Jaguars at the Titans. Jaguars are favored by 3.
Just talked to a guy from Citibank today, and I said, where we were trying to get stuff to load, and I'm like, where you live? And he's like, I'm down here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm like, nice. So we started talking about Shad Khan, and I told the story about how he went to the U of I and got like a $2 dishwashing job because that's what his dad made in a month. Is it Pakistan he's from or Afghanistan? I think it's Pakistan. But anyway, and that's kind of what kickstarted him to where now he's like one of the top 50 richest people in the world. But he said that Shad was really helping out downtown Jacksonville. They're kind of rebuilding everything. So we'll have to ask the Gov about that.
The governor will know.
He will know. But it was kind of cool. And I asked him, is Trevor Lawrence playing? And he's like, it doesn't matter. It's for the playoffs, and it's the Titans who are really bad this year. I'm going to go. The only thing that scares me is if Derrick Henry gets – is he hurt? If he gets rolling on some 150-yard game with 2 touchdowns, Tennessee could stay in it. But I'm going Jacksonville. Yeah. They will be in the playoffs. And then does that then alternately knock off the Texans and the Colts?
I believe so.
Okay.
Both of those teams are pretty trash.
Yeah, and they've got to have Jacksonville lose, I think. So I'm going Jacksonville to win and get in the playoffs. Jason?
Well, I don't care about anything but the Steelers sneaking in.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, that's up next.
Yeah, but you have to pick this one.
Right, which means the Titans have to win.
Okay.
And so, you know what? Even though I don't think that's going to be true, I'm definitely pulling for the Titans and the Steelers. So let's go.
All right. So this affects the Steelers as well.
So we know the next one. Steelers at Ravens. Ravens are 13-3. Pittsburgh's favored by a field goal. Who you guys got?
Here's my only question. Does Baltimore care about this game?
No.
Okay, they've already wrapped up 1 seed. Okay, I'm going to let you go then. I'm going to say Pittsburgh.
Unfortunately, I am as well, 100% saying Pittsburgh, but they have a lot of guys out. So if the Steelers lose this one, they don't deserve any shot at the playoffs.
Fair enough. And they're going with what quarterback this week? I forgot.
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. Okay. Well, the Steelers most of my life have been in the playoffs. So it would be strange to not see them there.
And you love them. You're a huge fan.
Oh, I just love seeing that black and gold.
They're in your text thread almost weekly.
Which reminds me, by the way, of Iowa, which also reminds me, excuse me to all my Tuscola friends, of Tuscola, who was my rival growing up. So, every team that I didn't like growing up wears that color. Iowa, Tuscola, and Pittsburgh.
And then Wiz Khalifa makes a whole song about black and yellow.
Oh, that's
that,
right.
that
Yellow,
helps.
black and yellow, black
That's
and yellow.
wrong.
Unbelievable.
Just wrong.
Yep. All right, next up. Seahawks at Cardinals. The mighty Cardinals.
Devin
4-12.
Witherspoon, by the way, Witherspoon, all pro, right? He's going to the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
So exciting for him. I'm going Seattle here. They kind of laid an egg last week. That was against Pittsburgh, right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, the Cardinals need to lose. They had this stupid victory last week where you and the rest of our group were really down on me because I was really down on myself and I was angry. And you even said, Lon's a little angry elf right now. And I was like, I totally am. And then I came back about 2 hours later after a couple of cold ones and said, okay, I've changed my tune. I'm going to be happier in 2024. But if the Cardinals beat Seattle, I'm going to be pissed.
Lon did a little ice plunge, brought the core temperature down, and realized, okay, the Cardinals are not going to beat Seattle.
I did need a plunge that day.
Next up, we got the Bills versus the Dolphins, Sunday Night Football.
Man.
I really hope the Dolphins win this one.
Yeah, you're a Dolphins
They
fan.
have to. It's in Miami, too. Come on.
Okay. By the way, I heard the Tagovailoa kid from Maryland's transferring. Is that the other? Is that the third?
Tagovailoa.
That's his brother.
Oh, I thought he graduated. Oh,
I don't think so.
Leah?
Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see that.
No, you might be. I thought I saw.
Are they both at Maryland?
It was on our thing.
I know, but I didn't read it.
Oh, you didn't read it. I didn't know. So
I saw Maryland, so I made the assumption.
Okay.
But
Hansi's looking.
We'll pull that up.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. And isn't this the crew that blew the Detroit Lions game? The 2-point conversion. That crew that got a lot of grief and basically got kicked out of the playoffs, they're now doing this game in prime time. Tell me where that makes sense.
And tell me how you watch that video and don't make that call. Like
that official's literally running from those guys. It's like he didn't want to hear him.
And then you see him report, and then you see the quarterback in the huddle, like, get your butt over there.
Yeah.
Go report. And he runs over there and comes back in the huddle, and they get 2 points.
That made no sense to me.
So I'll go first, just because I think the Dolphins are super fun.
They are.
They're a blast to watch, especially when they're clicking, man. When they're rolling, they are elite. So I'd like to see the Dolphins in the playoffs. Be fun.
Okay. Did Tyreek Hill? Did they salvage his house?
I was about to say, his house was on fire this week. He's going to be on fire Sunday night.
The roof is on fire. We don't need no let the burn.
His kid burned his house down, basically.
Is that who it was?
I believe so.
They said they think it's his son playing with a lighter, or his kid. Not
so not on purpose.
No,
Okay.
I think it's youth.
Did you find out if the Tagovailoa?
Yeah, he just entered the transfer portal.
So it is the good one.
The guy from Maryland?
Yeah. I didn't know if he had even a third brother. I didn't know if they had a third brother. I'm going to go Dolphins. Because
Great.
Buffalo's kind of not been very good all year. They've kind of disappointed. So I'll go Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins deserve a good win.
And that would kick Buffalo out, right?
Oh, boy.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Buffalo's 10-6.
Man, I thought Josh Allen going into the year, I thought they were going to be the favorite to
too.
win the Super Bowl.
This is the third year in a row I bet them to win. And this will be the third year in a row that I lose money on Buffalo.
Can you tell me your bets from now on so I'll go opposite?
That's what I've been saying.
I normally announce them on the show, so people should be rich by now.
All right, finally for the NFL, we got the Bears versus the Packers. Green Bay's favored by a field goal. Who you guys got?
How fun is this going to be? I cannot wait for this. Is this the Monday night game? No. It's 3 o'clock. It's a 3. Yeah, Pipes told me that. I'm going Bears. I'm going Bears to beat the Packers and knock the Packers out of the playoffs.
So week 1, I think,
or not allow them to get in.
Week 1 was Bears-Packers.
Yes,
right? And the Packers just destroyed them. Aaron Jones ran all over the Bears. I'll tell you what, man, the Bears look pretty darn good right now. And their defense looks hecka good.